Welcome to the review of the programming of the environmental growth chambers. We want to spend a little time on our interface here to show you how to program your temperature, your humidity, lighting, and CO2 control so that you can set up your experiment correctly. All right, to begin our programming, we're going to go up to the menu and we're going to select Program from the selections. The top item is control set points, and we'll start with those. And our temperature, in this case we have temperature, humidity, light, CO2, and then the HID lighting. So we'll start with our temperature. As we look at our temperature now, we have some settings that are already in here. If I click on any one of these white backgrounds, it will take me to the settings that are currently in the controller. If I want to make changes to these, I can do that, or I can clear the set points back on this screen by hitting clear set points. Once I have that, then clicking back, then I get to start from scratch. So we'll, by double clicking on the white areas, pop-up box comes up and you can change the value that is in that box. So at the temperature, we're going to change our temperature set point to 20 degrees Celsius, and our humidity set point to 25% relative humidity. So that will begin at midnight or at 2400 hours. And then if I come to the next one, and maybe we do 8 in the morning, and we'll do 22 degrees Celsius, and keep 25 for our set point. I'm going to do the next one. So then at 8 p.m. we'll set 21 and 25. So as you go through and make those set points, at those individual hours, that's when the changes will occur. You do have the ability to ramp during the time frame from one to the next, if you so choose, or do a transition, an immediate transition from the set point from the one column to the next at the time that's indicated. If you need additional columns, there is an insert column button at the bottom to give you more time slots. And then you can scroll left or right on those to see the others. Currently, we don't have any of our on-off items listed here. If there was something that we were turning on, like fluorescent lightings or HID lighting, they would show up on the side, and then we would click on the individual buttons to turn those on and off during those time frames. So currently we don't have any, so we'll leave that there. Once we've got our program set, there's a save set points to the graph display. The graph display was the previous display we looked at. We want to click that and save that, and then that will show up now on our chart. We do have the ability to do absolute alarms or relative alarms. Absolute alarms would be the top darker red, and we would select that by clicking that button up here. If I want to do relative alarms, I would select this other button, and then the closer alarm points would follow. Relative would be set maybe 10 degrees above or 10 degrees below my active set point, or if it was humidity, 10% below or above, or 5% above or below from my current set point. Depending on which you'd like, then select those two. If you want relative alarms, we would select relative. You have the ability to ramp or do stepping on the change in set points. If I want to ramp, I would select ramp, and then my set points will vary gradually between the times that I have programmed. If I want a step, you will see a right angle change in set point at the time indicated by the set points. Once this is all correct, what we need to do then is we need to save our programming to our TC2 controller, which is in the upper portion of our control panel. We do that by selecting the load these set points from the, or load these set points into TC2. There is a short process where those things that we have programmed in on our user interface will be captured and then transmitted to the permanent memory, or the EEPROM, of our TC2 controller. Once that's done, you'll see this little status bar will disappear, and then we can then exit back to our main menu that we started at previously. Usually this takes 20 to 30 seconds, and then you should be in good shape. While waiting for this, you may also want to take the opportunity to review your set points to make sure the transitions that you have programmed match what you are expecting. And so once we're done, and we've saved these or loaded these set points into the TC2 controller, select exit to go back to our monitoring screen. Now if I wanted to program lighting control, very similar look as what we saw for temperature and humidity. Clicking on one of the backgrounds brings up those set points. Again, you can see I have the hours of the day, or minutes if you wanted to do it, not on the hour, and then light, CO2, and then for instance in this case we have HID, which would be our high intensity discharge lighting, and that would give you the ability to turn those on and off at the various times. And so we can uncheck those if we don't want, or check them. Again, once we're done with the our settings, we save that to the graph. We load these set points into the TC2 controller, and then those are put into the permanent memory of the controller and will run. Then we exit the panel. A couple other things we want to show you under the Program tab are the alarm set points. So we'll look at our temperature alarm. This is where we set our relative alarms or our absolute alarms. Relative can be like we've got a 10 degree above or below. If I want that to be different than that, I could put 5. So now I have a 5 degree above and a 5 degree below relative alarm. Or I can choose the absolute alarms, which would be 45 degrees Celsius or 10 degrees Celsius. Once you've configured your alarms correctly, then you can hit done. Those will be saved. These alarms do not shut down operation of the box, but will be indicated on the screen and alert you to things not staying within the programmed set points. The alarms, there are some safeties that we will show you on the inside of the box that you will set with a small screwdriver that actually shut down full operation of the box and will signify an alarm on the panel up above. Once these are saved back to the TC2 controller, then the alarms are configured and will run either off of the absolute or the relative, depending on what you've set. The last thing we want to show you under programming is data logging. And whether it's humidity, temperature, CO2, you have the ability to select the interval that samples will be taken. By default, they're at 10 minutes. You can adjust that up or down as you feel is needed. And then once you've made the set point that you want, hit done, and then those will be saved. Those are the primary ways of programming a box and getting it up to speed for your experiment. Some boxes do have additional displays. There's a slider here that you can move up and down by clicking on the touch screen that will show you your lights and the CO2 at this particular box. Once you have got everything the way you feel it is ready to go for your experiment, We would encourage you then to put the box into operation using the control enable, and then let the box run for a day or two to make sure that the parameters are being met, that the sequence of lights coming on and off, the humidity, the temperature control are working off properly. If there are any problems with the operation of the box or the programming is not working as you need it to, please contact the Associate Dean over research or the air conditioning shop for their assistance.